Similar weight and similar stack height, but in terms of performance, how close are they? Well, today we're going to be stacking up the Hoka Mach 6 against the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4. So both of these shoes are relatively new into my rotation, 34 miles in the Hoka Mach 6 and 46 miles in the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4. In terms of performance, I'm excited to share how I'm finding them throughout this testing phase and maybe give you guys some similarities, differences, and then of course recommendations at the end as to which ones I think you guys might prefer, because I have my favourite, but we'll share that at the end. So if you're excited for today's video, guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. Let's start with the similarities. So I feel like both of these respective companies have designed these shoes for very similar purposes, and we can see that in a couple of elements in the shoe. The Mach 6, we're talking of a stack height of 37mm in the heel and 32 in the forefoot, and in the Endorphin Speed we're looking at 36 in the heel and 28 in the forefoot. So we do have that 5mm drop, 8mm drop, but we are sitting at relatively similar stack heights. A stack height that tends to lend itself to some good cushioning but also good performance. That is also reflected in the weight. We're talking about 297 grams in the Mach 6 and we're talking about 304 grams in the Endorphin Speed 4, meaning there's just 7 grams in it. And let's just home in on the Mach 6 very quickly. I'll showcase some of the differences with this shoe and then we'll move to the Speed 4. So with this one, there are a few preferences that I have with it. It is a softer shoe, so although we're talking about a 5mm drop compared to the 8 in the Speed, which does of course give a different ride sensation, you don't quite feel that roll through that you do with the Speed 4s. It is marshmallowy soft, not too soft. It is that perfect sweet spot, and it is softer than the Speed 4. This shoe has opened up the more I've run in it, and I feel like right now, after 34 miles and about 4 or 5 runs in it, we really are starting to cook on gas. It has opened up and it feels really, really nice. What I also like about this shoe is the heel counter area. So with the Endorphin Speed 3, I've got some heel rubbing issues. They seem to have fixed it in the Speed 4, but I'm just always wary. The heel counter doesn't look too dissimilar from the Speed 3 to the 4, although I haven't had any heel rub issues yet. But just by the way that it flares away, it makes things a lot more comfortable. I enjoy that. Good cushioning in this shoe in terms of the padding around the heel counter, and it is a bit more of a relaxed upper. So although this is a narrower shoe, and I'd say it's narrower than the Endorphin Speed 4, the upper is more, I'm going to use the word relaxed. When you slip your foot into the Endorphin Speeds and most Saucony shoes, the form fit upper, the way it wraps over the top of your foot, it really hugs it. This one, with the gusseted tongue, you get a nice lockdown, but it doesn't feel quite as constricted. And so I feel like if you're looking for something slightly more relaxed, you'll get on with this one slightly better. But when we home in on the Endorphin Speed 4, we find a slightly more propulsive package, but slightly firmer. And that's just down, I think personally, to the nylon plate. You can see it here poking through the side. It's a winged plate there, and you can see it there too. And that just gives a bit more rigidity to the foam, a bit more stability, I should say. Still nice and bouncy, but you really do roll through nicely, and I feel like I'm probably slightly more efficient in this shoe, albeit I have to say I am slightly favouring the Mach 6 midsole overall. How long it will last, we'll see, but this one is still a really, really good option. As I just talked about, the form fit upper gives you a very nice snug locked in fit, but you can see by the heel counter there, we're not talking about that flare away. This one kind of curls in slightly, and although I haven't had the heel rubbing, which I'm very grateful for, just looking at it makes me worry that at some stage it's going to pop back up again. The tongue is slightly more comfortable in this shoe, so it's very paper thin in the Mach 6. I feel like that across the top of the foot you get more of a comfortable sensation with this shoe. But yeah, overall in terms of the 8mm drop, that's the biggest difference, and that just comes with the propulsiveness of the shoe. This shoe is set up to move fast. We've got that speed roll technology in here, which just allows you, it's to do with the geometry of the shoe, it's just land and it instantly rolls you. That with the plate, that with the foam, everything, it just bounces you along nicely. So a bit more of a propulsive ride, but slightly firmer. So what you're also going to find with these two shoes is a more breathable upper in the Endorphin Speed 4. Let me focus on here and just go down very slowly. You'll see there's more ventilation holes in the Endorphin Speed 4. I feel like in the summer months that's going to benefit this shoe a lot more. And obviously the other thing we haven't touched on yet is the outsole. Now I feel like despite the distribution of the rubber, you've got a very similar amount of rubber being used on these two shoes, just in different patterns and different areas. I feel like the grip on these two shoes is going to be negligible because I don't think either of these shoes are set up to be super grippy. We've known for a long period of time the grip on the Endorphin Speed 4, the Endorphin Speed series, sorry, is not very good, and I haven't tested it in the wettest of conditions yet. Yes, we've had a bit of dampness. It's not done too badly, but you're not full of confidence when you're running in this thing. And to be honest with you, this is the first time the Mach has had, or over the last 3 versions, has had any kind of rubber coverage, and it's done well. It's grippy, it's quite tacky, but again, similar to the Endorphin Speed 4, I've not had too much time to test it in the wettest conditions. So just before I talk about which one's my favourite, let me tell you how I've tested both of these shoes. Both of them, as I said, have got just under 50 miles. The Mach 6 is just slightly behind, but I am putting in some good miles. Both of them have had a 90-minute run in them at moderate intensity, and both of them have had more moderate runs as well, plus some small easy runs. Obviously the Endorphin Speed 4 I've had a bit more time with, and that's had a couple more runs, but overall I wanted to make sure that I had both at least put a 90-minute run in them. If you wanted to see more feedback on the Mach 6, I have put a video out on the extra channel talking about my 90-minute run and how I feel the shoe's opening up a little bit more, so I'll make sure that there's a link to that in the description below. But overall, I just wanted to confirm that in terms of testing, they've both had very similar testing. The one thing they haven't done, and I can't comment on as yet, because I am sort of coming back from illness, I haven't been able to put any sort of speed into them, so they very much have been just Zone 1 and Zone 2 testing. So in terms of which one I'm preferring at the moment, and which one I might recommend to you, I kind of feel like the Endorphin Speed 4 is going to be a more universally friendly shoe that's going to cater for more types of runners. I feel like it's set up to catch a bigger range of runners. Slightly wider, the plate gives it a bit more stability, and so I just feel like those two elements in particular, that coupled with the way that the upper's set up and it wraps over the top of your foot, I feel like a lot of people are going to get a very enjoyable sensation when they run in this shoe. I feel like the width, as I said, is going to cater for a bigger range of runners. I feel like the width in this shoe will restrict a fair few runners from trying it out. And of course, durability, we know what Hoka's like. The Rincons for me died after just 150 miles. Clifton's got just over 100. The midsole foams in this things, we just don't know. But for me personally, at the moment, I have to be honest, I am enjoying the Mach 6 more. Now, the Mach 4, I got over 300 miles in. That is the most I've ever got out of a Hoka shoe before the midsole went dead. I'm really hoping with this new supercritical EVA I can get the same again. To be honest, I paid £126 for it, and if I can get over 300 miles in this shoe, I will be very happy. The reason I'm kind of preferring it is, honestly, it comes down to the midsole. I am erring on the side of a preference of firmer midsoles these days, and I feel like the softness of this midsole doesn't take it too far into the super soft, super squishy, you sink and then you kind of almost trudge your way back out of the foot strike because you're trying to kind of get something back from the foam. I feel like this foam is delivering really nicely. I took it on my 90-minute run today when I'm recording this, which is Friday, and I have to be honest with you, it was such an enjoyable experience. It feels lightweight, it moves really nicely, and I'm enjoying the 5mm drop. The Endorphin Speed is a very close second for me. I love, and I feel like I could probably go a bit faster in the speeds, but for enjoyment factor, I've got to be honest with you, I do feel like the Mach 6 has got it. But I will just say, I don't think as many people are going to want to take a chance on the Mach 6 as maybe the Endorphin Speed 4, and I feel like what they've done in this shoe, although it's put on nearly 20 grams from the upgrade from the previous version, 286 grams in my last size in a version 3, 307 and 304 in this one, so it has had quite the weight gain. I think the fact that they have sorted the heel slip out and sorted the rubbing at the moment, touch wood, I think that's going to go a long way into attracting a lot more customers. So as I said, I feel like this one's going to be more universally friendly, and for you guys out there, if you're looking for a faster trainer, something that you can do some longer runs, some longer efforts, so you can pick up the pace in, that you want to feel relatively lightweight, I think, if I'm honest with you, for safety, I'd probably go with this one. And if you are looking to maybe take a chance and think, oh, do you know what, I'm a bit frustrated with Hoka, their midsoles are a bit a bit naffle. They do kind of deteriorate rather quickly, but I want to try again, then this one is definitely something that I would take a gamble on. So there we go. Those are my thoughts on the Hoka Mach 6 against the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4. Honestly, two very, very good shoes. Two shoes that I'm delighted to have in my rotation. Not too much in it, but as I said, I just get a little bit more enjoyment factor from the Mach 6. If you've got both of these shoes, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you have one of them, let me know how you're getting on with them. Let me know how you're enjoying them. And if you have got both, it'd be great to hear your comparisons too. I've seen some good points about the Mach 6, some good comments I should say, and some people that aren't so keen, and exactly the same on the Endorphin Speed 4s from my previous videos. So it'd be great to hear how you're getting on with them if you've put a few more miles in since then. That's it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. I'll see you on the next one.